Good morning and welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we believe there's a power for good in the universe greater than we are. And guess what? We can use it, and we are using it every single day of our lives. So on this Sunday morning, we are actually embracing the Reverend Prince Fleet Easton, who called in with some dis-ease that he is experiencing this morning. And so the Reverend Dr. Clayton Beaver and I are here to present our service for Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. And so this morning, I would like to share with you our affirmation. And I will say it first, and I want you to know that I have loved our theme for the month. And our theme has been The Wizard Within. And each Sunday, we've just taken the archetypes from the energy of the book, The Wizard of Oz, by Frank Baum, who is actually the great grandfather of a teacher at Pacoima Elementary, where my late husband taught, and he gave us an original copy. So this is filled with sacred motifs and some amazing universal mythology. And as I share the affirmation, then Dr. Clayton will then join me this morning as we say this together, and I invite you to say it with me. I'll say it first. As I go within, I realize that all the wonders of the universe are right where I am. I celebrate the adventure of life every single day. So say with me, as I go within, I realize that all the wonders of the universe are right where I am. I celebrate the adventure of life every day, and so it is. And now, Dr. Clayton and I are going to share with you what we believe, because I'm sure there's some of you out there that you wonder what science of mind is. What is religious science? In fact, the name was changed a few years ago. And it was changed because people were confusing it with Scientology. So religious science is the laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, the revelations of religion applied to human need and the aspirations of every living soul. And what we believe is right here, and Dr. Clayton and I will share it with you. We believe in God, the one power, presence, source, and substance of all that is, whose will for us is eternal bliss, love, health, prosperity, and good fortune. We believe the power and presence of God is within us, and that we can use that power to accomplish anything through our desires, beliefs, thoughts, words, and actions. We believe there are many paths to God. We embrace and support every person's right to worship as he or she chooses. We believe we are eternal and are given unlimited opportunities to succeed and attain our heartfelt desires and goals through prayer, meditation, and by practicing the principles of successful living. We believe that heaven is first a state of mind that we can attain now and forever. We believe in the law of life that states, we get back what we give out. We believe that as our humanness gives way to the divine, the Christ consciousness arises triumphant and victorious. Yes. To know God, love God, and serve God is our purpose. And as we move into our service this morning, I'm going to be sharing with you a meditation. And it's a universal meditation of peace. So I'm going to get my Tibetan bell. So one moment, please. Thank you. This is a beautiful little Tibetan beaded, it's like a little jewel box. And inside this box are the Tibetan bells. And the Tibetan bells resonate to the heart chakra. Now remember, a chakra in the ancient Sanskrit means a wheel of spinning energy in a clockwise fashion. So as I set the tone for this morning's service, I will then go right into my spiritual treatment. And after my spiritual treatment, the Reverend Dr. Clayton Beaver will share with you. Today's topic is You Have the Power. That's right. You have the power. And he will be sharing with you about power and the energy of our higher power. So these little Tibetan bells resonating to the heart center. I invite you to repeat after me as I make this declaration into the law of mind. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it audibly, those of you in our viewing audience for our online service, just say it to yourself silently and just put your hand on your heart. Feel the resonation of your heart. So please repeat after me. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from a higher source.
My wisdom flows from a higher source.
I salute that source in you.
I salute that source in you.
Come, let us work together.
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 Peace, shalom. Peace, shante. Peace, salam. Peace, pause. Peace, pax. Peace, Frieden. Peace, 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 peace. Let's take a deep cleansing breath all the way down to the soles of our feet. Breathe in the good, the true, and the beautiful, whatever you conceive that to be for you. This is the day the Lord hath made, and we consciously choose to rejoice and be glad in it. It is a gift from God. And what we make of this thing called life is our gift back to God. So breathing in and breathing out, letting go and letting God do what God does best by means of each and every one of us who heard the call and answered. Before they call, I will answer. And while they're yet speaking, I will hear. And so this morning we acknowledge that all paths that lead to God are good. That right now somewhere in the world a Jew is saying his prayers, a Hindu is chanting a mantra, and a Buddhist is kneeling at her sacred shrine. Right now at this very moment, someone is lighting a candle in a cathedral. Someone is making their Hajj toward Mecca, for it is the will of Allah. And yet someone else is lighting a fire in a jungle, repeating an ancient mystical drama. Many, many pathways up the mountaintop, and the view is always the same from the summit. In the dawning of the spiritual sun, for a moment all faiths became as one. The Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Jew became as one, and somehow knew that mystic voice that calls to me, "Oh, yonder, yonder person, I am thee. We are one." There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect, and that life is our life right here and right now. It is nearer than our breathing. It is closer than hands and feet. It is the life of our life. It is the essence of our being. All that we are is this God-created stuff. God in us, God as us. God is the only truth of us. For eye hath not seen nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man and woman the things which God hath prepared for them that love. love being the strongest healing power in the universe. And let us declare this morning that that which needs to be healed is healed. And we wrap our Reverend Prince Fleet in this healing energy. We know within him as well, and everyone that is experiencing dis-ease at any level, that which needs to be healed is healed. That which needs to be revealed is revealed. That which needs to be known is known. And that which needs to be released is released quickly, gently, and with grace. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, that all cause, effect, record, and memory of that which no longer serves us returns to its native nothingness from whence it came, because in truth, it is neither person, place, nor thing. It is only the life and the energy that we have given unto it. And if there's anyone viewing this morning that possibly cried themselves to sleep last night, know that you are not alone. The love of God surrounds you. The light of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. That wherever you are, God is. This is the truth for you and with you. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, that we seek first the kingdom of God, knowing that all good things are added unto us. And as we speak this word, just recognize that it matters not what name we put on our higher power, but to acknowledge that which is within us is greater than that which resides in the world of conditions, appearances, and effects. Yes, in the world of conditions, appearances, and effects. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all good things are added unto you. That mentally and emotionally we are in perfect peace. Our mind is stayed on thee. That our body is the temple of the living God. Our God is bigger than any diagnosis. That you are as close to God as I am ever going to get. And I am as close to God as you are ever going to get. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. And as we look into the area of our divine substance, the financial area, we know that God is our source. That we bless every avenue and channel in which our good flows. God is our source. And we affirm together this morning, I am happy, healthy, prosperous, and free. And that makes all the difference. And so it is. Amen. And now it is my very great pleasure to bring to the platform the Reverend Dr. Clayton Beaver. Dr. Clayton and I have been friends for 35 years. And I was actually on his board for him to receive his Doctor of Divinity, which was quite wonderful. You can just put Minnie down. He's holding Minnie because, remember, this is the Rose of Sharon Sanctuary. This is my living room that we are doing our online message from. And as people go by, she likes to bark to say hi. So we kind of have her under wraps, don't we? Yes, as much as we can. So it's my great pleasure to bring up the Reverend Dr. Clayton Beaver and to acknowledge that he has a message on power for us, and we can hardly wait. Take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon, and welcome everybody to this wonderful spiritual center and teaching. I was thinking this morning, I was watching a religious program on TV, and it was a good one. And I thought the interesting thing about what they're doing and what we're doing is that at the end of the service, they go home and that's it. And they don't even think about this in many cases until they come back next week. For us, this teaching and everything that is said here is about a way of life. It's not about some doctrine that you've got to do this and you've got to do that. What we are doing is just what our nature is, to stay connected to a higher power, to stay connected to our source, and to know that we are guided and supported always. So many people fail in life because they don't bother to even put their foot out. Why do they do that? Fear-based. We can release that because we are God action in action. And we know, I use an affirmation all the time. I am guided and protected always. perfect right action prevails. I am guided and protected always. Perfect right action prevails. I would recommend that you try that. Try it and then think about what it means. Because with that, you can do anything. You have nothing to fear. Doesn't mean you don't pay attention to the traffic. What it means is that in terms of your life, you've got something working for you and within you that will take you the course. We know this to be true because those of us that have been practicing this for a while have experienced it. It happens consistently, and everything works for my greater good. That's another statement we use here. I love this theme here about the wizard. The wizard within is what Dr. Sharon told me to speak on today. And it's great because this is sort of mythical, and yet it's all about very practical, real life stuff. Because the one thing we do for a start is we make a joy in living, not a chore. If you think it's a chore, guess what you've got? You got a chore. You could be experiencing paradise, and if you view it as a chore, it's a chore. So we get to change our minds about things that are not working for us. This goes to the core of this teaching, really, because it's our connection with the creative source. We are at cause and not at effect. And we know this because as we live our life and go through it, this is our experience. For the most part, I know that if you practice these principles, you're going to be pretty happy. Doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. Doesn't mean you're not going to have bad days. Doesn't mean the wizard isn't always going to be on your side, because we never know about these crafty wizards. But we do know that the wizard within, which is really talking about the God within, that is with us. That empowers us. This makes possible for us everything we choose to do in our lives. It also makes possible, even when we're going through things we don't want to do and things that are not bringing on the surface anyway, any kind of joy or wonder to us, that there's a reason for it. When I got in touch with the concept that there's a reason for everything, I stopped trying to think that maybe there was some conspiracy against me. I never really did think that, but I think I didn't always view it as an opportunity. And I think that you have to view things that aren't exactly as you want. This is what the wizard told me. That if you do what the wizard told me, everything's got a message in it for me. Everything's got a benefit in it for me. And sometimes the toughest things out there are the things that will bring the greatest benefit to me and hopefully to others that I come in contact with. Because wherever you go, there you are. Whoever you come in contact with, you are a messenger. You can bring an aura of joy or an aura that isn't so great. That's your option. That's your decision. And when things are tough, what I think we have a real opportunity to do is to acknowledge it and then release it. And when I say release it, I mean simply just let it go. I've done my part. I've experienced it. I'm listening and trying to learn the lesson. Because I always try and learn a lesson in a tough situation, right? If you're going to go through this pain, at least you want to do is get the lesson out of it. It's this kind of even-keeled acceptance of what I am, where I am, and what's going on that makes life such a wonderful opportunity. And it also allows each of us, at least this is what the wizard told me, it allows each of us to take the things we have to offer, and every single person has things to offer. They may seem small to you, and they may be gigantic to the person you do them for, or on behalf of. They might be gigantic. But our job is simply to share ourselves and our experience and our understanding. So first of all, enjoy this moment. Secondly, no matter what is going on, look around you. There's beauty and magnificence everywhere. We happen to be here in the Palm Springs area, and we're on the desert floor. As I'm speaking, I'm looking at a mountain that's 10,000 feet high, which I've climbed. The wizard said, do it, and I did it, and it was a great joy. If we're timid and fearful, that will carry over, not only in terms of our own lives, but what we have to share. We don't want to do that. And I think this has always been with us. Sometimes we've allowed life to beat it out of us. Never do that. Life cannot beat it out of us if we don't allow it. I know when I was a young man, I was an officer in the Marine Corps in Vietnam, and a lot of things happened. And I was never fearful, because even though I didn't quite understand it, I knew I had responsibilities. That was what was given to me. My obligation was to fulfill them. My reward was to fulfill them. Things happened there that were absolutely miraculous. Later in life, other things happened that were also miraculous. Some of them seemed very small, but sometimes the very smallest of these things, according to the wizard in my experience, the very smallest of these things became the stepping stone for something magnificent and great in our lives. In order to do this, all we have to do is be open and willing to receive our good, and more than willing to share it, because that's where the joy comes. We don't get the joy from holding everything within. We get the joy of putting it out there. That shows who and what we are. And our individuality certainly likes that to be done. We know that the opportunities, no matter what the challenges may be, will always be great and available to us. All we have to do, according to the wizard, is say yes. Si se puede. Yes, we can. Si se puede. Yes, we can. That's a decision. Has nothing to do with the circumstances. The decision made, held firmly in mind, draws to itself those things necessary for its fulfillment. So don't worry, not that you don't prepare, you always prepare. Not that you don't prepare, but it's the belief that will create the possibility, no matter what those challenges out there may be. Not only will it create what we need out there, but it will also set our frame of mind in a way that we can be satisfied and pleased with ourselves and with the God that created us, the power in the universe that created us. And we can take that forward in a way that is of benefit across the board. We know these things to be true because it's one of those things frequently. How do you know something? Some things you just know. You just know. You don't have to be told. If it's a negative, it may be a warning to watch out for something, but it's not a permanent truth. This too shall pass. You've all heard that statement. We've all heard that statement. But it's in the knowing that's true. The power is in the knowing. The power is in accepting the God within. That knowing. It's not an academic thing. I've taught on a postgraduate level, among other things, and some of the people that do this stuff they're very bright, but they don't get it. If you don't get accepting the wisdom of God that flows in your veins, really, you're missing an opportunity. Our opportunity is one that is a treasure beyond belief.
Yes.
And the opportunity that we accept will lead to something better down the road, no matter how challenging it may be. Because in the continuum of life, everything impacts everything else. So we know that regardless of what's going on, it has value, it has importance. And it's important for us to not only believe that, but to share it. The one thing about being a teacher, Sharon has in particular for decades, is that her great pleasure is in what she does for other people. It's amazing. You can have a good life with all the stuff, and you can still share who you are and what you are with other people that will create something of value and benefit to them. And it may be something very small. It may be a simple awareness. And the wizard told me, and I know this is true, a kind word has immeasurable power. And so with that, what I would like to say is that I wish you love. I wish you every opportunity you're looking for. And I wish you the ability and the understanding to accept it and move forward.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, bless you. Here's Miss Minnie. Thank you so much. Isn't he wonderful? I want to say, yay. He's my audience of one. I was his audience of one this morning. And at 9:30 this morning, it was 108 degrees Fahrenheit here in the desert. It's supposed to get up to 115, I guess, today. So when you're hot, you're hot. And when you're not, right? And so this morning, it's my great pleasure to greet you, not quite as the world greets you, but with profound esteem and the acknowledgement that we are here by right of consciousness, that we are the two or three gathered together for a higher purpose. So I greet our online audience, our beautiful virtual audience that joins us every Sunday. I acknowledge that nothing happens by chance, right? That we are here by a divine appointment. We heard the call, and we answered that call. As we conclude The Wizard Within, this great topic for the month, I just want to acknowledge that we do have the power, and I have loved looking at all the archetypes and how they apply to our daily life. And remember, our daily life is our temple and our religion. That's right, our daily life. And it transcends religion to the spiritual essence of who and what we are. And remember, that spiritual essence is within every great religion. And I say it every Sunday, in the dawning of the spiritual sun, for a moment, all faiths became as one. The Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Jew became as one, and somehow knew that mystic voice that calls to me, oh, yonder person, I am thee. We are one. This is a message of universal love and oneness beyond color, race, creed, sexual orientation, or political affiliation. We are one. In this oneness do we live and move and have our being. So we have the power. And the wizard within is that God consciousness, whatever we choose to call our God, whatever name we put on our higher power, it matters not, but to acknowledge that which is within us is greater than that which resides in the world of conditions. And we know that conditions show up, don't they? Just as they did for Dorothy. When that house was making its amazing spin in the sky and lands on the wicked witch from the east. Now, evil is really an interesting thing. And when we don't want to really look at the darker side of life, we want to put it, kind of shove it under the rug or sweep it under the rug. It does show up in other ways. So as the Wicked Witch of the East had a house land on her, I think this providential had a whole house land on her, what happened? It created her sister to come in, the Wicked Witch from the West. But in the midst of all of that, when Dorothy lands in the land of Oz on her way to the Emerald City, that she doesn't even know she's on her way yet, the Good Witch of the North, Glinda, comes in, right? And I just love the Wizard of Oz, where when she's with Auntie Em and Uncle Henry, and she's with all the farm hands, old Hunk and old Zeke and old Hickory, and they're out feeding the piggies and doing their things with the chickens and mending fences. It's all gray. And it's a gray pallor in the movie. But the minute the tornado comes and lifts the house off its foundation and it lands in Oz, she opens the door and everything is in living color. And what does she say? I must be over the rainbow. I must be over the rainbow. And when she was singing over the rainbow, when her Aunt Em said, please make yourself scarce. We're busy with the baby chicks. She had this amazing recognition that there was a place, a very special place over the rainbow. And we are told, in biblical sense, when the rainbow appears, I will remember the everlasting covenant between me and all living beings. I will remember the everlasting covenant between me and all living beings, right? That we have a covenant one with the other. And that as we remember that covenant with all living beings, there's no other. There is only the energy of our humanity, our family, and the recognition that we are all deeply related. Now, the ancient Hopi believed that we're a rainbow tribe. And I love that because regardless of what culture we come from, that there is a universal oneness within us that transcends color, race, creed, sexual orientation, and political affiliation. So we're all part of this Dorothy consciousness. And this is International Gay Pride Month. This is international, it's global. So I want you to know we're friends with Dorothy as well. And when we get it, that the archetype of Dorothy, when she is 12 years old, she's not quite an adult, not quite out of childhood, but 12 is the number of completion. We know there's 12 months in a year, there's 12 signs of the zodiac. There's 12 hours in a day, 12 hours in a night, right? And it's a number of completion. So we close one door and we find the universe lifting us into another reality. And we open that door in living color and we're told to follow the yellow brick road. And we go through all of our experiences in life. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Tom Kenyon. He is a world-renowned sound healer. He chants the 23rd Psalm in a way that brings tears to my eyes. He chants the energies of sacred texts, and you feel like you were within this temple, the energy of the temple. In fact, when I was in India, we had to be put on a boat, and then they sailed us out to the temple, that it was actually in the ocean. And when you went into the temple, there was, of course, the amazing fragrance of the incense, but there was the chanting. And there was the acknowledgement of our oneness and the oming, which is the first sound in the universe, the sacred om, the energy of spirit. And so energetically, what we know is that temple of the living God is within us, isn't it? It is within us. And as we allow ourselves to be in the world and of a higher vibratory frequency, and that we are told to follow the yellow brick road, which archetypically is what? It's the path of enlightenment. And it's a spiral. And as we follow the path of enlightenment, and we're looking outside of ourselves for teachers and gurus and avatars and saviors, what we learn in the Science of Mind tradition is that is within us, as Dr. Clayton shared this morning, that the wizard is within us. It is our God consciousness. It is everywhere present. So in sharing with you about Tom Kenyon, and I do hope that you get to experience him, he was sharing that when he was a psychologist at the Olympian Wellness Center in Washington, that they were in an old Victorian house and they gave him the very top floor and they actually rehabbed the attic. And so he said he could just see, through this great window up in the attic of his office, this great view of the Olympic coast. And the director came up to him one day and said a little 7-year-old boy had come to their center, their wellness center, and said, "Is the man upstairs in?" And he said, "Well, he's busy right now." Of course, I believe busy is a lower vibratory frequency word. I like, involved or, a full schedule. But the director said, "He's busy right now." So the little boy left and he came back every day for several days saying, is the man upstairs? Can I speak to him? Is he here? And the director would say, he's busy. Well, Tom said on one occasion, he had an hour between his next appointments, and the little 7-year-old boy came and said, is the man upstairs here? And the director said, well, as a matter of fact, he is. So he went up to Tom. He said, the little boy is here to see you, the man upstairs. And they showed him in, and he sat down. And Tom said that he's a hypnotherapist as well, so he had like a chaise lounge, and that when you lean back in the chaise, your neurophysiology completely relaxes, and you really kind of go into an altered state. But as he sat down and he started to lean back, he put his little feet firmly on the ground to ground himself. And Tom said, this old soul on this little boy's body was amazing. He said, I'm here because my daddy lost his job. He's very sad, and there's a lot of unhappiness in my home. And Tom said, he got it, that this little boy thought he was talking to God. And he said, well, all right. And how does that make you feel? And he said, it makes me feel sad too, and unhappy. And is there anything you can do? And Tom said, he's, thinking, well, I can go within. I can say a prayer. And he said, I think I can. There's something I can do. And the little boy relaxed. And he had like a serene little smile on his face and said, thank you. He went down the stairs, and he said in Olympia, Washington, that in the winter, it's very dark and gray and rainy, and it's very rather depressing. But 2 weeks went by, and he meditated on this. And he thought, of course, in our way of life, we believe that everything is God, that God is within us, everywhere present, that we're co-creators with this higher power. I am God, you are God. Everyone on the planet is that God. As the humanness gives way to the divine, the God consciousness arises triumphant and victorious. 2 weeks went by. He said, the sun shone down on them, the rays of the sun. It was like just a day of gratitude, feeling that sun. Oh, thank you, God. And he said he went into the parking lot of the Olympia Wellness Center, and it was full, so he had to park 2 blocks down. And when he got out of his car, who did he see but the little boy? And he was riding a brand new shiny bike. And he said, oh, man upstairs. He said, my daddy got a job, and he bought me this new bike. And he said, isn't that wonderful? He says, they're right over in the yard. I want to introduce you. So he thought, oh, well, okay. So he went over and he met the little boy's parents, and they shook hands, and he introduced him as the man upstairs. And what he realized is that the mother, every time they had a problem, she says, I'm going to talk to the man upstairs. And then this thing happened over here. I'm going to talk to the man upstairs. This other thing happened. I'm going to talk to the man upstairs. So Tom said that as he was gazing out his window up in the attic, most likely the little boy saw him and thought, this is the man my mommy talks to when there's a problem. And this is the man that gave me back my happy place in my life. And Tom said that on that first occasion of their meeting, that he sat and he said, I laughed at the humor of it all, of course. And he said, and I wept for the suffering and the unhappiness in the home of this precious little being, 7-year-old boy. And I wept for all sentient beings that are suffering. And then I felt joy in knowing that there is a very deep place within me that I could go and I could commune with this energy. He said it wasn't about deities. It was about going to the deepest place within him and knowing the truth for this little 7-year-old boy. And that when he knew the truth, there was sort of a clearing in his energy and atmosphere, that he had reached the Emerald City. That all false gods we don't need to go to, because our little four-leggeds are going to just take the curtain with their little mouths, and they're going to expose the charlatans that hide behind curtains, building theme parks, as one of my colleagues says. So we have the power, don't we? We have the power to go within, to that secret place, to know that when the Wicked Witch of the West, that ego part of us, seems to be overpowering, that there is always something in the energy field that can disappear it. So when Dorothy took the water and she was putting out the scarecrow's fire with the hay that he was stuffed with, what happened? The Wicked Witch of the West melted. And I love the scene where the flying monkeys came in and they were, threatening everyone, and they picked up Toto and they took Dorothy to the Wicked Witch of the West. And the Scarecrow's lying around with his head over here and an arm over there and a leg over there. And he says to his friends, "Help put me back together." And there are times that our friends, our allies, need to put us back together in such a way that we can confront all that no longer serves us, all that is in the energy field that no longer serves us, so that we can arise triumphant and victorious. Remember, when Dorothy, they went to the wizard, and the wizard gave each one of them a symbol of what they were asking for. What happened? The Scarecrow got what? A diploma. He said, it was so darling. He said, "You already have brains. You already have a mind. But what you don't have is a diploma." Gives him a diploma, and suddenly he's validated. The Scarecrow's valid. He's got a diploma of thinkology. He said, a THD, thinkology. And then, of course, the Tin Man receives his heart, and it's a heart-shaped clock ticking. And I believe that each of us was given a heart so that we would live one moment at a time, beat by precious beat, moment by precious moment. And of course, the Tin Man was so grateful. And of course, then the Cowardly Lion receives his badge of courage, that you are courageous, but what you don't have is a badge. And suddenly the Cowardly Lion receives his badge of courage, and he is courageous. As he says, he has the nerve now. He has the nerve. And they all turned to Dorothy, and the wizard said, "I'm going home to Omaha, and I have this wonderful balloon, this hot air balloon, and I'm going back to Omaha, and I can drop Dorothy off. I live near there now." And what happens is Toto, jumps out of her arms, and Dorothy jumps out of the hot air balloon to chase Toto, and off, because the wizard doesn't even know how to operate the hot air balloon. It just takes off. So Dorothy is left there. But what happens is the Good Witch of the North, Glinda, comes in. And she said, "Dorothy, you have always had the power. See your ruby red slippers?" And I want to share my ruby red slippers that Robbie Mater had given me on her 80th birthday. She had them on, and I admired them. And she took them off, said, "They're a little uncomfortable for me." So what I've done is I've broken them in for you. So I immediately put them on. and they fit perfectly. And I've had them ever since. And when I do these talks at the Lieberman Chapel, I would wear them because they're so symbolic of friendship and the energy of what? You click 3 times and you say what? There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And when Dorothy said, it's so simple, why didn't you tell me to begin with? And what did the good witch of the North say? What did she say? What did our higher self say? You needed to learn it for yourself. You needed to learn it for yourself. And as we learn things ourselves, what do? We embody them. We embody them. So the water symbolizing the energy of purification melted the ego. And the ego is in service to our higher selves. And to look to home is to look to that place within us that has never been touched by grief. It has never given offense nor taken offense. It is a place of Christ consciousness. It is a place of the Buddha nature. It is the place of the holy I am presence. And we have to remember to put the works with the faith, the action with intention. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home, because home is where the heart is. Keep your heart in all diligence, for out of it come the issues of life. There's always a man upstairs. There's a doctor in the house. There is a priest and priestess in the temple. There is the energy of all that is right where we are, in our own backyard, as Dorothy said, that I never really have to go anywhere. But it's the call to the adventure. And as Joseph Campbell, the great anthropologist of note, said, say yes to the adventure of life and evolve and grow in miraculous ways, because we are all going somewhere. Do you know where that is? Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place and we will not come down. None of these outer things move us. We are in a high place and we will not come down. And so it is. It's been a joy for the Reverend Dr. Clayton Beaver and I to be with you this morning. And you know that we usually take an offering. And so those of you who have been tithing and sharing your love offerings, it's really an amazing thing that our survival is about people that giving and tithing from their substance. And when we give from our substance energetically, we open the space to receive. The same opening we give through is the same opening we receive through. And so for those of you who have been sending in your tithes, your love offerings, and your financial gifts, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because on March 22nd was the last time we took and received a physical offering. Everything has been sent in through our PayPal account, our PO box, and some of you have been calling us to share your credit card. We do have a credit card facility. So I want to thank you so very much for those of you who have found value and have given out of your hearts the value received. It has meant the world to us, and our doors are opened because of your generosity and your light and your love. And it also being this amazing, amazing day where we come together in community and acknowledging so much has gone on in June. Last week was the World Unity Week, and I was on several Zoom presentations speaking on world peace. And that my platform is, we have to heal our own issues if we're going to espouse peace. If we're going to be peace in the world, we need to heal ourselves so that we can learn to draw the larger circle, and that whatever is confronting us, that we can include that rather than look outside ourselves and think it's about someone else or something else. So it's been an amazing month. It's been an amazing, amazing year. And the recognition that we're here and to recognize one another and to go within when things occur and allow ourselves to know the truth. And it is that truth of being that sets us free. And what is the truth? Is that we're all one, each and every one of us, beyond color, race, creed, or sexual orientation. We are all one. And that does make all the difference. So thank you so very, very much for tuning in this morning and being a part of our virtual ministry and allowing us to serve in a way that we grow and evolve. I always say we are the greatest benefactors, that we grow and evolve through the sacred service that we give. And that does make all the difference. And as we surround the Reverend Prince Fleet Easton this morning, we acknowledge his beautiful contribution that he makes. And we are knowing that he is perfect, complete, and whole. And that wherever dis-ease seems to be operating, the presence of God is. Wherever pain seems to be operating anywhere in the world, the presence of God is. Wherever upset seems to be operating anywhere on the planet, the presence of God is. So I say to you, namaste. The divinity within me salutes the divinity within you. And the divinity within you salutes the divinity within me. And if I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. I say shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, every one. And at our Wednesday night live service that we had for several years, there was a oneness chant. And we would sing it together. We would sing, I am one with God. I am one with life. I am one with love. I am one with peace. I am one with joy. I am one with you. You are one with me. We are one with God. God is all there is. God is all there is. And so I am one with life. I am one with life. I am one with life today. I am one with love. I am one with love. I am one with love today. I am one with God. I am one with God. I am one with God today. I am one with peace. I am one with peace. I am one with peace today. I am one with joy. I am one with joy. I am one with joy today. I am one with health. I am one with health. I am one with health today. I am one with wealth. I am one with wealth. I am one with wealth today. I am one with you. I am one with you. I am one with you today. We are one with God. We are one with God. We are one with God today. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is today. And so it is. We'll look forward to being with you next week. We're just so grateful that we could be here together as we acknowledge that there's a power for good in the universe greater than we are. And we are using it every single day of our lives, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. So we say, until next week, and we acknowledge that we are one, and that makes all the difference. And so